All right, and we're up.
Cool. So tonight we're going to be doing a special one shot, taking a break from Crown of Cold Iron, and we're going to be playing through Spencer Hibnick's Questmaster, which is an homage to the British comedy show Taskmaster. And since we're smaller than normal, each of the guys are also going to be running a retainer using the MCDM retainer rules from a little bit from some of the block is from their strongholds and followers, and then they're also in the process of updating it. So from their monster manual preview, there are a couple things that update it. So we're going to be pulling those in as well. So you will get to see some retainers going at the same time. So y'all want to introduce who you're playing tonight?
Who's going first?
I'll let you go first. My dog has found something to bark at outside.
Okay. I am playing as Lathander, a half-elf noble warlock. He is Pact of the Archfey and is generally just all around a half-elf who desires to be a full-blooded Eladrin with all of the ego that entails.
All right. I am playing Lucky. Lucky is the most insufferable halfling you have ever met. Everything is easy for him. Everything just seems to work out in his favor no matter what he does. He's not mean or bad. He's just very irritating to spend time around. The person who looks down and goes, "Oh, hey, look, a 20," and pulls cash up off the ground.
Nice. All right. So I think with that, in Lathander and Lucky's travels, y'all have clearly found yourselves owing the wrong people money at various points. And so your creditors have ordered you to compete in the Taskmaster competition, and they are betting on you to win in order to pay off your debt to them that you have accrued through various shenanigans.
What are the odds against us? Can I bet against us? Wait, no, we have Lucky.
So we are live at the Questmaster Arena. The Questmaster Arena is a large outdoor venue. Several thousand people of all ages and backgrounds pack into the stands, bubbling with excitement as beer peddlers trawl the aisles. A tall, silver-scaled half-dragon in a sharp black doublet sits on a plush throne on one side of the stage. Beside him stands a scruffy-haired minotaur in a matching doublet. On the opposite side of the stage, 5 groups of adventurers, yours included, sit on marble benches. Center stage is home to a pedestal displaying a golden bust of the half-dragon. The half-dragon speaks into a rod and his voice booms across the arena. "Hello and welcome to Questmaster." The crowd erupts into cheers. "I'm Grizz Devix, and according to this contract written with an unnecessarily large amount of my assistant's blood, I am the Questmaster. Over the past few moons, 5 teams of adventurers of varying levels of valor and competence have completed 4 ridiculous quests for our amusement. Why did they risk their lives and sanity?" He points to the center of the stage. "To win this, a solid gold bust of my magnificent head, which I'm sure they'll melt down for beer money." He pauses for audience laughter to subside. Without further ado, let's meet this season's contenders. They are the Star Scale Kobolds, the Unnecessary Umlauts, the Guild of Friends, Cult, Occult, and the Party. And here beside me, lesser in every way, is my furry, feckless assistant, Axel Horns. So you all see we have the Star Scale Kobolds, which is a troop of 8 chaotic engineers, all with black scales with patterned silver tips that formed constellations. The Unnecessary Umlauts are a band with a glam rock aesthetic. They know how to charm a crowd, but they can't stand each other. They are Thunderbeard, Death Rattle, Cacophony, and Bob. Then the Guild of Friends are all kind of sneering and punching each other on the shoulder and wearing various blacks. And then the Cult Occult are you see a cultist, and they have mentioned their worship of the great tentacled deep one, but otherwise they haven't spoken since things have started. And then the Questmaster and Axel introduces you all. So Axel stands up to explain the rules of the show. So each group attempts the same quests separately, and you don't know how the competitors did until the reveal of the show.
All right, and with that, I'll be right back. You could do a commercial break.
Tonight's episode of Questmaster is brought to you by Dragon Bites. Get your breakfast cereal shaped like a cauldron of gold coins.
Nice. Manufacturer is not responsible for tooth decay.
Excellent. There we go. Now I can see everything better.
I should have looked more closely at the spells I picked.
They don't do what you thought, or?
Well, more I picked them without reading them, so I'm not sure what they do.
Oh, also fun.
I picked some solid utility and then picked other ones that were like, oh, this seems like it fits the flavor.
Fair. Well, we'll all be excited to see what Lathander is capable of.
Well, Pact of the Archfey, I apparently just get the Summon Fey spell. So that's the one I'm looking at. Like, wait, what can I do?
Yes.
It's a minion.
And I've already got 2.
Everything's very tense, and Lucky just pulls out like a bag of fish jerky and starts eating.
All right. And competitors start each quest fully rested. If anybody happens to die in a quest, they are resurrected at the end of it. You can use any equipment you're carrying and any spells you know, unless the quest specifically instructs otherwise. And you may not attack or cast spells on the Questmaster or his assistant, Axel. So the format of the show is we're actually kind of like at a reveal show. We'll be doing kind of like flashbacks where you've actually already completed these quests And we're at the reveal show, and illusionists project up how everybody did, and so then we'll go and do the flashback where you actually complete the quest, and then score is added at the end. Any questions before we get started?
I can't cast spells at the Questmaster. If I compel another competitor to cast spells at the Questmaster.
Well, at least while you're doing the quest, you're doing them just with your party. The other competitors are not doing them simultaneously. They do them separately.
Darn.
All right. So Grisdovic says, all right, Axel, let's hear our first quest. All right, Axel, let's hear our first quest. I just said that. Axel, what are you doing? Right. Tonight, our first quest is about mimicry. And so our flashback begins with you all being teleported into a sparse room where Axel is waiting. And he hands Lathander a scroll. Lathander, if you would like to read the scroll that Axel has.
Oh dear. Where did you drop that on?
Zoom chat.
Uh-huh. Kill the mimic. You may not use divination to locate the mimic. Fastest kill wins. Your time starts now.
All right, so Axel approaches a large door with a carving of the Questmaster making a cheeky grin. He shoves the door open, and inside is a massive chamber 100 feet on each side and 30 feet tall. There are 100 stone statues of Axel, each slightly different, spread out evenly in a 10 by 10 grid, all lit by 4 hanging candelabras. He ushers you into the room and walks into a corner and blows his whistle.
Oh boy.
So I've got that loaded up on Owlbear Rodeo.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
We'll grab the Warlock and the Rogue. And I think that's the Wizard.
So what do we think the interaction is of magic missile and mimics?
Are you thinking we just start blasting?
Well, magic missile can only target a creature I can see. It can't, as written, target objects.
Huh.
What else do we have going for us?
And you all can set your own initiative order. We're not actually in combat, but it's just for tracking how long it takes to find the mimic.
Does it matter if we destroy anything else?
I look on the back of the scroll.
Yeah. All the information is in the quest.
How many of these are there? 2, 4, 6, 8. 100 of them.
There are 100 statues.
I chose very bad spells for this.
Yeah.
Just be. Although they may not be the right ones for this one, they may be perfect for another one. Don't forget.
Yes.
Should have brought Fireball. Always bring Fireball.
There's got to be a trick to this. It can't just be a guessing game. I am going to send my familiar, my pseudo dragon, flying around the room looking for hints on the walls and on the floors.
I say I've also got an owl familiar. His name's Ozzy, and I will also have him kind of make a circuit.
Okay.
Although I guess we should be doing this like as simultaneous as possible.
Right.
So who's so you're gonna say Lathander first,
Sure.
and then
I will.
and then Lucky.
I'll send the pseudo dragon clockwise around the outer edge of the room. It's got a fly speed of 60, so. Let me pull up a little dragon token for him. I said a little dragon token. See if I start him there, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 around the room, spying as he goes. So I guess he'll want to do a perception check. And he has advantage on perception checks that rely on sight, hearing, or smell.
All right.
So that's either a 17 or a 12. So 17.
Okay.
And I guess I will also be, I'll go in a circuit the other way around. While also perceptioning, because that's a word.
Yes.
And I've got a 21 looking for clues and hints.
While this
Yeah,
is starting,
21.
Lucky has the same bag of fish jerky that he's eating later, but now it is like substantially more full. I guess eating later, not earlier.
All right. So with a 17, you see where's my highlight? Which one's the highlight? No. There we go. Let's say this statue over here, second row, all the way on the end. Your pseudo dragon sees one statue has a large round plaque with an engraving of the Questmaster. It reads, "This plaque is a distraction, or is it?"
As a bonus action, I command the pseudo dragon to stab it with its tail.
Okay, make an attack roll.
I gotta pull up the attack again. +4 to hit. Okay. Oh, come on. That was on the 19. It's a 13.
All right, that hits. They only have an AC of 10.
And that was with the sting, so that will be 1d4 plus 2 damage. And if it's alive, it needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
It is not alive. It is just a statue.
Well, the statue takes 3 stinger damage.
Okay. So jabs out and catches the statue in the shoulder, and it breaks off a piece of the statue, but it does not. The statue itself as a whole does not crumble.
And it's the one that I put a red X on, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and then you said you got 21.
I got a 21.
All right, so we will say this one. You see the Taskmaster is a statue of the Questmaster, and he's holding a clipboard. And the or rather, sorry, this isn't the Questmaster. It's Axel, the assistant, and he's grinning, and the plaque on the base reads, "You've already passed the mimic."
And where is
Already
that?
passed them. I read it out loud. You've already passed the mimic. How do you know that? Are you watching me, Axel?
That was that one.
I will Eldritch Blast the one right in front of the door. Left of the door, since it's not either of them directly in front. Let's see, how do I... Do you...
This one?
That one, yes.
Okay. Roll your attack.
There's the pointer tool. This one.
Cool.
Eldritch Blast. 24 to hit.
That definitely hits. Roll your damage.
Only 6 damage.
Okay. So this one is also damaged, but is not fully destroyed.
So things in this room. There's the statues,
Yep.
and there's the candelabras,
Yep.
and those are the only sort of discrete items in the room.
Was the door
Yep.
open when we came in? Or did we open it?
Axel opened the door and ushered you in, and he's still standing off in a in the corner.
Destroy the door.
I'll say, and your retainer, what order are
Yeah,
they going
your
in?
retainer can take an action.
I tell the retainer to stab the door.
Okay, make an attack roll.
+6 to hit. It's weird controlling 3 different things. That's a dirty 20.
Yep, that'll hit.
1d8 +3 slashing damage. 5 damage.
Okay. All right. So your retainer stabs into the door, and you immediately see the door shimmer and see the outline of a pseudopod come extending off the side of the door.
Thank you, Lucky, for pointing out that there are things besides statues in here.
Yeah, I knew it couldn't be a statue. I was going to shoot the candelabras on my turn, but the door makes sense too. But now it's a mimic and it's fighting us, right? Like,
Yes,
this
now it
isn't
is a
done.
mimic and it is fighting you. All right, and so that will bring us to Lucky.
Man, I'm standing fairly close to this thing. I think that I'm just going to hit it with an upcast magic missile.
All right.
So this is going to be... So it's 3 to start, and then 2 more for higher levels. Yeah. So this is going to be 5d4 plus 5. 18 points of force damage.
18. All right.
And do I literally have any kind of bonus action? I don't think so. All right, I'm done.
And Lucky's retainer.
Oh, what's his name going to be? I think his name is Gus. Let's see. I got to paste out this stat block real quick. All right. Gus is just going to turn and can I have my familiar go first?
Oh, sure.
My familiar is going to swoop in and give Gus the help action. And then Gus is going to swing with advantage.
Very nice.
Let's see, that's a 13 on the die, plus 6.
That'll hit.
All right. So that's going to be 1d8 plus 3. 7 points of damage.
Okay.
Oh, and does it seem like I'm in melee range?
I'll let that can be up to you.
Well,
Since I just kind of placed y'all in the door, I didn't ask where you were standing.
I'm going to fully step away.
Okay.
And that's the end of my turn.
All right. So the mimic will take swing a pseudopod at the rogue. I've forgotten names, but
I don't think I gave him a name.
fair. At rogue. With a 14 to hit.
Does
We'll call him Robin. And yes, that hits.
I'm going to cast Silvery Barbs. So you have to re-roll and take the lower roll.
Okay. Oh, I re-rolled higher, so.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
So that is 7 points of damage, and the rogue is grappled.
Oh no.
And that brings us back to top of the round with Lathander.
All right. So the little pseudo dragon is exactly 60 feet away, so zipping through the statues to right here.
Cool.
And then use my bonus action to command it to stab with its tail. So that is a +4 to hit. Dirty 20.
That.
So that will be 1d4 plus 2, and it's going to need to make a Constitution save. So it'll be 5 damage.
11.
It needed a 15 because of my packed boons.
Dang.
So it is poisoned for an hour. And then I will move closer and shoot off an Eldritch Blast over the heads of the retainers.
All right.
A 9.
9 misses. But I think at 5th level you get to fire it twice. I forgot that on your first turn.
Eldritch Blast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it scales up. That's how it scales. The dice doesn't get bigger, you just launch more and more.
Oh. Why does it not say that anywhere on this sheet?
It's
Second Eldritch Blast.
buried somewhere.
Oh, it is buried somewhere. There it is.
Yeah, count
How about a
two.
14?
14 hits.
Danced around till it landed on a 9, which makes it 13 damage.
Nice.
Good. All right. It is looking quite hurt.
Is that a max roll?
That was a 9 on a 10.
Yeah.
So almost. So that was move, bonus, and action. So now it will be my retainer's turn.
Yes.
And since there's only one enemy creature, I guess he will use. No, I think he'll just attack.
All right.
It's a +6. Makes it. Oh, that's a crit.
Whoa.
Nice.
It's been so long since I've had to roll the dice myself. Remind me how we do crits.
Max 1 damage roll plus 1 max die roll.
All right. So that is 5 plus 3 plus the max die roll makes it 16 total damage.
All right. That does it. So the mimic form dissipates out of the door, or shimmers and ceases to be a door. And so with that, y'all, Axel blows his whistle, and y'all are teleported out of this room and back into our arena. Where you all get to see the other teams and their results. So the kobolds construct a giant sling and fling ball bearings across the room. After a few fruitless shots, a bearing smacks a kobold who proceeds to stumble into the mimic, which then eats them whole. The survivors club the mimic to death. On stage, the now resurrected kobold waves sheepishly. Next, the Guild of Friends and the Cult Occult both immediately start smashing through the statues with weapons and summon tentacles. After destroying every statue in the room, the groups notice the door and finally attack it. And the last group, the Unnecessary Umlauts, is shown last, and Bob pulls out a lute and sings, "Oh, mimic, come to me, hear my song, and reverse flee. Oh, mimic, come to me, eating my face is where you want to be." And his partner Thunderbeard heckles Bob. The two argue. Bob yells, "That's it, we're breaking up the band," and storms toward the door, which then attacks him as he tries to leave. So as the Questmaster asks Axel for the times, the umlauts finished in 25 seconds, the kobolds in 56, and the friends and the cult in 90 and 108. And you all finished in, like, let's see, we did
8 seconds.
8, yeah, like 8 or 10. It was like a round and a half of combat. So y'all score 5. The umlauts scored 4, then the kobolds with 3, the friends with 2, and the cult with 1.
No disqualifications.
That's right. And so with that, Grisvidax asks, "What's next, Axel?" And Axel says, "I think it's time for a song. Yes, our next quest involves a song. Actually, 5 songs." And so the illusionists project an image of the party in a comfortable room sitting across from a scowling auburn-haired elf in blue robes. The flashback begins. And this time, So we'll hand the scroll to Lucky. So I will send that to Lucky to read.
Write and perform a song about this mage. Best song wins. You may ask the mage 10 questions. You may not strike the mage. You have 30 minutes. Your time starts now. We brought a bard.
We brought a bard. Who decides what the best song is?
The Questmaster.
Dang. There goes my suggestion idea.
Okay. All right. I don't know how the timer displays. I think I can.
We may ask the mage 10 questions.
Yes.
10 questions.
I wonder how fastidious and how to put it, cranky and literal he's going to be about the questions. So if I said, like, can you introduce yourself, is he going to say yes?
Given the grumpy look on his face, we should assume that that's exactly what's going to happen.
So it feels like we'd have to know his name.
Question number 1. What is your name?
My name is Tavrayan.
Tavrayon. Couldn't have had a name that rhymed with something. Like purple. Always looking for a good rhyme with purple.
So what else would we want to know? Tavrayon, and we know that they're a mage, right?
I mean, that's what the clue you read
Description
said.
said, yeah.
Yes.
Would it be helpful to ask their profession?
Could be. Is Axel in the room?
Yes.
The task says that we may ask 10 questions of the mage. I'm asking you a question,
Yes.
Axel, not the mage. Can we talk to the mage without asking questions?
You can talk to the mage without asking questions, but the mage may not doesn't have to answer you.
Fair.
Well, we've got you. What's Grizz's favorite kind of music?
What's the Questmaster's favorite kind of music?
Yeah, didn't you say that he would be the judge?
Yes. I would. He is definitely a humor fan. So I imagine he enjoys Weird Al or other similar fantasy.
Maybe we ask, like, what kind of magic do you do?
Yeah. So his work he works as a scryer and a diviner, but also practices necromancy.
I thought they outlawed necromancy. Don't answer that. It's not a question.
That's 2.
And we're already on a timer. What is your name? What do you do?
Yeah, it's 30 minutes real time.
Yeah. What is something interesting about you?
He enjoys painting as a hobby. Most of his paintings are gerbils wearing hats.
Do you reanimate gerbils and put hats on them? I realize I just wasted one of our 10, but I don't even care.
No, but he doesn't reanimate them, but he is attempting to reanimate his childhood pet gerbils.
I feel like this is adding up to some like joke that I don't quite understand yet.
You and me both.
This feels like a very specific, form of humor that's happening here.
So he is not our judge, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I know exactly what question number 10 is going to be then. Oh, goodness. Where are you from?
Whoa.
Let's see. We didn't name this city. He's from this city. We will say he is from he's from the city of Black Bottom, where the arena is currently located.
Black bottom gerbils make the rockin' world go round. Why did they choose you for this? As best you understand.
Ooh. The Questmaster particularly liked my painting of Snowball.
This is...
I have a lot of abilities to help us, like, once we're doing this. I don't know where this is going.
Yeah. I I don't. What else would go well in a song? Do you have any family?
He does. Uh, he has two sons, Yanasis and Vaeldrin, and an ex-wife, Vrindralia.
I turned to Axel real quickly, and in Elvish, specifically in Elvish, say to him, "We can ask you as many questions as we want, right?"
Axel replies, yes.
Damn. I was hoping you didn't know Elvish.
So we need a funny song that incorporates this stuff.
A funny song about Tavrion, the diviner necromancer who loves his gerbils so much and paints them wearing hats. Mm,
There it is. Ah, you're too big.
do you have any pets right now?
He does not have any pets right now. He's been, with his inability to properly reanimate the gerbils.
Is this like a meta Alvin and the Chipmunks joke?
You're done.
And I should add that you don't have to like actually sing. It's just judged on lyrics and interesting questions. Only sing if you want to sing.
Is Vrendalia your ex-wife because she got rid of your gerbils?
Because she what?
Because she got rid of your gerbils.
No, they had died before they split, but she was not a fan.
Oh.
Chat says we should get points for the Black Bottom Gerbils Queen reference.
Yes, I agree.
Lucky, do you have any more thoughts on questions?
Okay.
On your last one.
Okay, I'm torn between What's the most bizarre thing you've ever scried? Or have you ever been to prison?
Go with the bizarre scrying.
All right, what's the most bizarre thing you have ever scried or divined?
Once when he was scrying on to find the body of his other beloved pet gerbil, Cinnamon. Um, he saw a dog running through a field carrying a bone in its mouth. That was then promptly snatched up by a griffin.
You have led a fascinating life. That's probably better than my question number 10 would have been. My question number 10 was just going to be to pull out 10 gold and ask, will you bribe the Questmaster for us? Okay. I'm going to shake his hand.
He looks slightly confused, but he accepts the handshake. I don't want that.
So now we need to find a way to make this into a song. I immediately turn to Gus.
Yeah, or some collection of lyrics, rhyming poem. It doesn't have to be strictly musical.
I mean, Weird Al was specifically referenced. I'm not gonna lie, black bottom gerbils. I don't know. I don't know what we have better than that.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Admittedly, it would be better if it was squirrels.
Stepping out of character, me, Joe, the player, I've never been good with writing rhyming words.
Oh, let's see.
Huh. This is a virtual tabletop where you can move each other's tokens. Sorry, distracted.
Yeah, no worries.
I think that the song needs to start with, you know, Tavrion's wife Vrendalia leaving him. But the black bottom gerbils make the Scryan world go round. Some kind of story song starting with the despair of his wife leaving and rising in triumph with the gerbils wearing hats.
I like it.
I made a Google Doc.
Yo, I've got 11 minutes remaining.
It's honestly better than I expected.
This is fantastic.
I'm inventing the word gerbilry.
Like you do.
So, was Cinnamon or Snowball, were those both his childhood pets?
Yes, those are both childhood pet names. Oh, this is fantastic. I feel like the last verse like almost just works. You don't even have to change much of it.
Yep.
to anyone who is currently watching. I don't know if you can see. I doubt Colby is screen sharing, so I apologize that y'all are just watching us giggle, but I trust it'll be worth it in a minute.
Here we go. I've pulled it up now so they can watch as we edit
Oh,
this in
excellent.
real time.
I think this is it.
I think we got it.
And obviously, Gus will be the one performing it.
Yes.
But I think when we do perform it, I am going to cast Disguise Self to make myself look like the famous siren Murky Fredrickson.
Very nice. Does one of you all want to read the?
Colby, you did most of that. I think you should take it.
Oh,
Unless you want me to take it.
I'll let you take it.
Oh. I'm just gonna read it like modern poetry. I'm not gonna try and sing. Oh, she walked out my home tonight. Oh, we had another gerbil fight. Oh, you gonna paint all that hurt out. Black bottom gerbils make the scrying world go round. He was just a skinny lad, never divined no good from bad, but I knew love before I left that gerbilry. Left alone with Fluffy Snowball, she was such a naughty mammal. Hey, big gerbil, you made a necromancer out of me. I've been scrying with my spells, cross the valleys, cross the dells. I've seen every rodentia along the way. But their beauty and their style went kind of smooth after a while. Take me to them fluffy gerbils every time. Oh, won't you rise and live tonight? Oh, down beside that dark ritual light. Oh, and you give it all you got. Black bottom gerbils make the scrying world go round. Black bottom gerbils make the scrying world go round. Now I got shoeboxes and stones. There's no life left in these bones. Ain't no spark of life in this cemetery. But I still get my pleasure, still got my greatest treasure. Hey, big gerbil, you gonna rise up and run free. Oh, won't you rise and live tonight? Oh, down beside that dark ritual light. Oh, and you give it all you got. Black bottom gerbils make the scrying world go round. Black bottom gerbils make the scrying world go round. Put on your hats and rise.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Love it. That's what.
That was fantastic. Oh, that was fantastic. I
And
think
with
as
time
you,
to spare.
yes,
This is where 2 humanities degrees leads, children. Go be a plumber.
as you say, I think Tavrion like conjures just like a small light and like waves it back and forth.
Yes.
This little produce flame.
Oh, goodness. Whew.
All right. So we will bounce back to the arena. First up, we see the Guild of Friends. As soon as they find out that Tavrion is a necromancer, they spend all their remaining questions asking him for gory details about decaying bodies. And they perform Ozzy Osbourne's Zombie Stomp, which the Questmaster says is a good tune, but he criticizes it for having nothing to do with Tavrion whatsoever. The unnecessary umlauts discover Tavrion's love of gerbils. Bob tries to ask more about them, but his bandmates overrule him. So he once again storms out, yelling, "That's it! We're breaking up the band!" And so without their vocalist, the umlauts perform a polka, but that has no lyrics. The Cult Occult learns about Tavrion's broken family and unfulfilling career, and perform a depressing a cappella about the futility of life in general and his life in specific. And he gets up and walks out of the room halfway through the performing of the song. Finally, the kobolds belt out a war song, Tavrion, Hero of Gerbils. And its chorus goes, "One day he will assemble an army of gerbils raised from the dead. One day he will assemble an army, each legionnaire with a hat on its head. One day he will assemble an army, the blood of his doubters will flow deep and red." And Tavrion bursts out laughing as they sing and tells them it's the first time he's laughed in several years. So the Questmaster awards both you all and the kobolds 5 points. The cult gets 2 points, and the umlauts get 1. He initially awards the Guild of Friends 4 points, and Rorash Hellglaive from the Guild of Friends yells, "You uncultured swine, our song was perfect. I demand you reconsider." The Questmaster responds, "I've reconsidered. 3 points it is." Rorash roars in anger, and the crowd laughs and cheers.
Lucky is like writing a little sending spell real quick, making sure that they've got all the copyrights in order for this song.
Excellent. Before he gets copyrighted by the show.
They owe us 7 coppers in royalties.
So. And then, as this one finishes, Grisvidax says, "Axel, you are a hairy meat tube, and looking at you makes me hungry. It seems I'm in a sticky situation. I'm hungry for quests, Axel." "Oh, good. Well, speaking of sticky situations, here's our next quest." So we see you all see the party on a small platform with a quest scroll hanging within reach from the ceiling on a string. And when Lucky grabs it, the floor opens up beneath you all, and the quest begins.
And we got all of our assorted stuff back after that first challenge, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, I said Lucky. I meant Lathander. So here is the scroll for Lathander to read while I switch our map.
Rodeo the spider. You must sit on the spider for 15 seconds. It must be a spider while you sit on it. If you fall off the spider, the timer resets. Fastest wins. Your time starts now. Rodeo a spider. What?
So here's a question. If I use momentary stasis, would we be considered on top of it still?
You'll have to tell me what that does.
As an action, you can magically force a large or smaller creature you can see within 60 feet of you to make a Constitution saving throw. Unless the saving throw is a success, the creature is encased in a field of magical energy until the end of your next turn, or until the creature takes any damage. While encased in this way, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0.
Yeah, I think as long as somebody is sitting on the spider while you have that effect going on it.
So who makes the most sense to put on it? The rogue, maybe?
Probably. It's just a really big spider, right?
Yes.
Hey, spider,
All
do
right,
you
so-
understand me? Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, there goes that idea.
I mean, we can give it a shot. I think I can buy us at least. So 15 seconds is like 2.5 rounds. I've got multiple attempts. Let's see, I've got, I think, 3 shots of momentary stasis. And I can force it to re-roll saving throws once.
Okay.
So I'll let y'all. So a few things to note about the room. So you're in a cylindrical room, 40 feet across with 30-foot high ceilings. The floor is covered in webbing, and so is difficult terrain. There are crates in the corners in the northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So in each of these corners, there is a crate that is closed.
Does the spider have to be alive?
All the information you need is in the quest.
It doesn't say the spider has to be alive.
I feel like we're setting ourselves up for like a Monty Python skit, like the spider is no more, it is an ex-spider.
It just says it has to be a spider while you sit on it. It doesn't say it has to be a living spider.
There's some interesting semantics there of like when you hear spider, is living automatically sort of appended to that? Is that the default assumption?
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and roll our initiative here so that we can track.
19.
Oh, initiative. Oh yeah, I'm ridiculous. 23.
Should we roll for our retainers, or are they just going to go on our turn?
They just immediately follow you.
Gotcha.
Chronergy shenanigans.
Oh, and the spider did not roll well, so. All right, so Lucky is up first.
All right. Man, that's ironic. The this bard only works in battle. It only works on attacks. It's really good on attacks, but only on attacks. Okay, I don't know. Do we want to go with the stasis plan? There are crates. Do we think the crates are significant?
Oh, they probably are.
Does the spider seem like immediately hostile?
No.
I'm going to go ahead and have my things, Ozzy and Gus. I'll go check the one over here. I'll have Ozzy fly across to the other crate, and I'll have Gus go to the one down below, and we'll all very quickly just see what's in the crates. Because it was crates, and then was there anything else in here? There's one more mark.
No, that was me thinking I had a different tool selected, and now I can't figure out how to delete it. That is stray and random.
Hey, I found it.
All right. So each crate contains a block and tackle, a climber's kit, a fishing tackle, a grappling hook, 2 hunting traps, 4 sets of manacles, 2 nets, a shovel, a bar of soap, a tinderbox, and 50 foot of hempen rope. It'll take an action to get any object out of the crates.
And I kind of feel like
say soap.
I guess you could soap the. No, does soap do something weird with spiders? Nature check?
Sure, go for it.
That's a 7. I'm going to burn a luck point. That is a 23. That's a nat 20.
You don't know that that soap interacts with spiders in any special way, but you, as you look at it more, you do recognize this is in fact a phase spider.
Yeah, that's going to be awkward. Okay. Well, that makes me think that probably it's going to be very dice dependent, but momentary stasis is like fully can't do anything. So we've got a very good shot of just holding it in place. Do we want to give that a shot?
Let's sure.
All right. So can we call that a free object interaction to look in the crate?
Yeah.
So this is not a huge room, right?
Out. What's that?
I said this is not a huge room, right? This is like 5-foot squares.
Right. Yeah, it is difficult terrain because of the webbing, but it is, but it's not. But they are just 5-foot squares.
Okay, so then I'm going to call Ozzy back to give the help action. And I'm going to ready an action to use momentary stasis. Oh, shoot. No, I don't want to do that, because if I do that, I can't use alt reaction also. I'll just go ahead and momentary stasis it, and then someone of your cadre get on it.
Sounds good.
All right. It needs to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. It got a 13.
That's not good enough. It is completely frozen.
All right.
Perfect.
And that'll be my turn.
Cool. All right. Lathander.
So you said that the webbing makes it all difficult terrain, right?
Yes.
Oh boy. So I don't know if my retainer can actually get there on this turn then.
Does he have a bonus action dash?
If he does, then he can. Does he have a bonus action dash? I didn't see it on his sheet.
I don't think it's technically in the retainer, but for the purposes of this and him being a rogue, I'm fine with doing that.
All right. So I'm going to let him go first. So he'll bonus action dash and climb onto the spider.
This commercial break brought to you by the Black Bottom Gerbilry. Come on down for all of your gerbil needs. Like a bad jingle version of Black Bottom Gerbils plays in the background at the end of the commercial. And the phone number pops up and the little website underneath.
All right, so the spider is completely frozen.
Yes, it's like frozen in time.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you just get up. Because it can't make a.
It can't
What is it?
attempt to throw him.
Yeah. All right. So
That was the retainer, and as for me,
Yep.
I'm just going to ready an action. If it becomes unfrozen. Oh wait, no. This is a concentration spell. It can keep going. So I will cast Summon Fey.
okay.
I'm going to summon a mirthful Fey, and it's going to be sitting just right in front of the right here next to the spider. And it is going to ready an action. If the spider unfreezes, it will attempt to charm the spider.
Nice. Okay. All right. So does the spider get a resave on stasis?
Nope, it's just until the end of my turn.
Okay.
Oh, the end of the next turn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not incredibly useful in combat because it breaks if it takes damage. But we don't need to hurt it, so
Right.
all right.
All right. So it is incapacitated. So its turn ends. And so we're back at the top with Lucky again.
All right. I'm gonna do the same thing. My oops, I was gonna leave that. My familiar is on hand to do the help action. Man, D&D Beyond is just so bad at searching. Man, saving throws are the one thing help can't do anything about. but we'll still keep it on sight. So then I will go ahead and momentary stasis again. So another Constitution saving throw.
$17.
Now it starts to get interesting. I'm going to use Chronal Shift, and it has to reroll.
$19.
So that was action. This is going to be distinctly less good here in just a second. Well, dang. We might be about to blow this. I... Man, almost none of that stuff's actually helpful, though. Because if it's a phase spider, none of that stuff's going to come with it. Like, if it gets stuck... I guess I'll direct Gus to pull out a hunting trap, and I guess that's my turn.
So you said at the end of your turn it unfreezes, right?
Yeah.
So that means that should trigger the ready to action. So my Fae attempts to charm the spider. It needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. I'm rolling. All my stuff is high. 15.
That is exactly the save DC.
And I've already used my No, wait. Oh, no, I've used my reaction.
But I go before the spider, don't I?
Yes, you do.
All right. So first, I am going to cast Enthrall.
All right.
So any creature that can't be charmed succeeds automatically. If not, it needs to make another wisdom saving throw.
Three.
All right. It has disadvantage to notice anyone or anything except for me. And I think that includes the rogue on its back.
Yeah.
And then my Fae will attempt again to charm it. So another wisdom save.
Yeah. 4.
It is now charmed by the Fae and by me.
My rolls are balancing.
For 1 minute, it is charmed.
Okay.
And I think that's my whole turn. Is just it's charmed and enthralled.
Okay.
And poor
All right,
Robin is just sitting there trying not to move.
Yeah.
So it's now he's now made it a full 6 seconds.
Yep.
All right. So it's got disadvantage to notice anybody other than Lathander. And it is charmed by the Fae.
And by me. For some reason, the Fae's charm makes it both of us have charmed it.
Okay. All right. Well, it got wait, no, disadvantage. It got a 3 on its perception check. So I'm going to say it's just sitting there for this next turn at least. It will Actually, knowing that it's there, let's see. What is it? So it will disengage from the Fae and move. But that'll be its turn.
Just don't make any sudden movements, Robin.
All right, back to Lucky.
Okay. So theoretically, this arrangement should hold, right? Like there's...
Right. It is enthralled as long as it can continue to hear me up to a minute, and it is charmed for a minute.
Okay, so it's for sure good. Well, for sure gets 12 seconds. Do we think it's going to like do something of its own accord this turn that's going to shake him off?
Only if it notices him, I think, because it was pretty passive while we came in, right?
Yeah, it did not respond aggressively to y'all entering the room.
I should definitely have buffed him in some way before we did this. I have like multiple options that would have been really good. Okay, in that case, I'm going to hold my action. If it moves, I'm going to try and momentary stasis it. Or not moves. If it does something that's going to buck him off, I will momentary stasis. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it alone. The owl is going to give the help action again. And I'm just going to have Gus chill. Okay, that's it.
All right, Lathander.
I think same thing. It's a waiting game on our end. Robin, just don't make any sudden movements.
Well, that was a nat 1 on perception.
If it climbs up the wall, just keep holding on.
So it'll move over there. All right, so that is turn number 2, with Robin starting its turn on the spider's back.
So we've made it 12 seconds now?
Yeah.
So theoretically, we only need to make it like halfway till his next turn, right?
Yeah.
So if the spider's already gone, do we even need to do anything? Or is this just going to run the clock out?
I think we're running the clock out.
Okay, I'm just going to wait then.
Okay.
Same.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a character must start its turn on the spider's back for 3 consecutive turns. So this will be the start of Robin's third turn.
Huzzah. Look, Mom, I charmed a spider. Are you proud of me yet, Mom? Have I been undisinherited yet? You didn't hear that.
You say that, and this is like broadcasting, like,
Yeah.
and all these people are watching it on little like arcane TVs in their living room, and it like zoomed in on you when you did that.
All right. So Axel blows his whistle, and y'all get teleported back to the arena, where we see the cult use spider climb and try to surround the spider. It bounces a couple people off and does its phase out to the Feywild and back, until finally the leader just casts command on the spider multiple turns in a row, and it doesn't move. We get a mashup of the kobolds and umlauts, who go for the crates. The kobolds eventually drag it down with grappling hooks. The umlauts try the fishing rods and nets before using hooks. It manages to escape by phasing once, but they eventually bring it down. And finally, the guild goes, and Rorash Hellgrave looks at the task, looks at the spider, looks at the task again, throws his spear through the spider's head. It falls to the ground, and then he just sits on the body as the crowd boos, and he's like, yeah, let me have it. He is playing the perfect heel at this moment.
I told you.
So you all receive 5 points, as you were just a little bit faster than the guild in completing it. The guild is second, the cult third, the kobolds fourth, and the umlauts in fifth. So right now at this point, y'all have 15 points. The kobolds have 10. The umlauts have 6. The friends have 9, and the cult has 6. So
Still anybody's game.
That's right. As we cut back in, Grisvidax goes, Axel, and Axel interrupt. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the... Axel, what is wrong with you? Sorry, Grizz. It's just, I've been thinking a lot about death lately. Well then, let's take your mind off your inevitable, grisly, painful death with a nice, peaceful quest. No can do, shiny one. Our last quest tonight is all about death. So the scene opens with you all walking into a tavern, and Axel hands Lucky the last quest scroll. There we go. So Lucky, if you want to share our last.
Well, let's see here. Using only the contents of this tavern, create a fake death scene in 15 minutes. Detective Axel will arrive to investigate. Everyone in the party must be dead when he arrives. Most evocative and original death scene wins. Your time starts now.
Wait, we all have to be dead?
So
what?
So the Scale and Horn Tavern is a large single-story working-class establishment. It has all the liquor, equipment, and furnishings of a standard tavern, and each side room has several unusual objects.
Well, let's get investigating.
So let me pop that back open.
Oh, okay. Dead in air quotes. I mean, they do
Inspired by that.
resurrect you if you die, right?
That is true. Does your body disappear?
Let's get investigating.
Does your body disappear if you die? Because I know we've been watching the other groups, and some people have died.
No, it stays there. It stays there until the end, and then when Axel comes in, they get resurrected, or when Axel calls it, they get resurrected.
I mean, that would definitely be the most evocative way, but I feel like it's a little fourth wall breaking because I don't know how many characters would be able to like kill themselves for a game.
Yeah.
Like I see the option on the table, but I just can't convince myself that we should do that.
Quick rules question, like game rules question. What
Yes.
happens to your familiar when you die?
I think it stays up till it's casting time.
I can kill all y'all and then have my familiar kill me.
So we have got the kitchen. Let's see. So do I have the pointer or the drawing tool before I go? Yeah, okay. So we've got the kitchen back here, the main room, this private room, and then a small corner room over here. So the kitchen has barrels of cherries and syrup, lemons, onions, pickles, potatoes, tomatoes, sacks of flour and yeast. The private room has this private room with one table has got a pair of elk heads with large antlers, a hunting trap, a pair of javelins, and a saddle. The room with I guess this is the room with the private room with two tables. Which has bagpipes, drum, flute, lutes, horn, and a viol, and several bottles of bad decisions of liquor are on the table. And then our corner room here is set up with art supplies, as though set up for an art class with potter's tools, clay, paint, and 4 statues of the Questmaster, nude except for a fig leaf, one on each small table. I will start your 15 minutes to devise your death plan.
All right then.
So I'm thinking the cherries and syrup are excellent, like for wounds.
Right.
If we want to go very evocative, we javelin someone to the ceiling.
Yes.
Like we can maybe, I guess, use both javelins, and like that way they've got something to kind of hold themselves up, and then like let the stuff run down the javelins. It would be funny to have the. Would it be funnier to have the bard look like he asphyxiated playing the bagpipes?
Yes.
Oh, that's how we maybe like. Maybe we like close. Oh, I've got it. We use the art supplies to make it look like the bag on the bagpipe was a mimic. And then we like
There we
put it over the bard's head and lay him out on one of the tables.
Yes. And then let's pin the familiars to the ceiling with the javelins.
Yeah.
And, we have our own weapons. Robin, we're going to crucify you to the wall. Right in front of the door. So I guess that would be this wall here.
I think for just general mysterious creepiness, I could summon an unseen servant and just have it like weirdly like hold me in space like this.
Yes.
And it'll just look like I'm floating there for no reason and dead.
And so that just leaves me, really. Is there a giant soup pot in the kitchen?
Yes.
I'm thinking I will be stuffed, contorted into the giant soup pot.
Ooh, what if we, just as like one last touch, summon your fairy and give it like, just cover it in all of like the cherry sauce and stuff, and give it like a giant knife and a giant fork, and just have it be like standing over you when he comes in, and then let it like unsummon it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that's everybody.
There's just one last thing. I'm going to cast Disguise Self to look like the Questmaster.
Ooh, yeah. I think maybe another detail. What if we took like a brush from the art supplies? We use the bad decision juice. I'm assuming is like a high content alcohol, right?
Yep.
What if we have your fey creature also just write like weird disturbing things with the alcohol, and then we touch it with fire and let it like sear into surfaces?
Yes. Yes. I love it.
All right, I think that's the game plan.
All right. So how are you putting what's happened to Robin, the rogue?
We're using our own weapons to crucify him on the wall. Right in front of the front door.
So that's like kind of like under him to just kind of like hold him in place.
Yeah, I suppose so. We probably shouldn't.
Or are you
really kill
actually
him.
are you actually running him?
Probably shouldn't actually kill him.
And how do the familiars get pinned?
There's only 2 javelins, right?
Yeah. So I guess just sort of like under, because what's yours? Yours is a pseudo
Pseudo
dragon.
dragon.
Right? I think like under like a wing.
Under a wing, yeah. Maybe so that they're dangling.
Cool. And Lucky's being held up by an unseen servant.
Yeah.
Anything else to make him look like anything, or Is he just posing, or are you?
I think it's more disturbing if like he just seems inexplicably dead.
Fair.
No wounds, not even any blood.
Yeah, just like mysteriously. Maybe that's the next step. Uh the unseen servant is just like rotating in place. And so Lucky is like spinning very gently through the air. It's like one of those like Japanese show like the special effects person in the the suit who like lifts people and
All right. And then what are y'all writing on the walls?
I think just like disturbing words and messages in whatever language the Fey spirit speaks.
I think just maybe even nonsense in Sylvan.
All right. Anything else to prepare, or y'all feel you've got it?
I mean,
I think we got it. Yeah, got to make sure that Axel sees me as the Questmaster.
Also, if I'm not believable enough in my performance, I have luck points I can burn. Oh, that would have been another one that would be super fun but high risk. Would be to like let him walk into the room and see us all sitting there. Oh, you can't. No, you can't use spells on the Questmaster, right?
Right.
It would have been really funny to hit him with the stasis ability, and then have all of us just disappear right in front of him. But anywho, I'm pleased with our arrangement here.
Cool. All right then. We'll end our timer. All right. So as y'all get set, Axel walks in through the front door wearing the cliche investigator outfit with the Sherlock Holmes. I forget the name of the hat,
Deer
with the double brim.
Stalker or something.
The deer stalker hat. Yeah. And he's got like a big pipe in one hand, and he walks through the tavern, describing the scene and kind of how everybody has been laid out, and then he goes, "I've solved the case," and what Detective Axel determines is that Lathander had summoned this fey creature, and then that you all were putting on some kind of mock performance of the of Questmaster, the show itself, and that it was angry at the score that it received from the Questmaster, and so then proceeded to go on a murderous rampage using the different items and magic and charming people in order to create this ridiculous death scene. So, and with that, we bounce back to the illusionist, and we see the other attempts. The cult occult drew a summoning circle using paint on the floor, and then take one of the elk heads off the wall and create puncture wounds and blood trails and cover the elk's antlers in blood, and then spread out across the tavern with the elk head on top of the last cultist. And when Detective Axel arrives, he deduces they summoned a poltergeist which possessed the elk head and ran the cultist through on its horns. Next are the umlauts, who spend 5 minutes arguing and proposing ridiculous ideas like creating a giant yeast monster or setting the entire tavern on fire. Bob gets fed up and again yells, "That's it, we're breaking up the band." But Thunderbeard yells, "Wait, that's brilliant." And the projection cuts to the bards, bleeding and bruised, lying in the smaller private room. Detective Axel deduces the band broke up for the last time, and the members beat each other to death with their own instruments. Third is the kobolds. They quickly decide to stage a massive bar brawl, and Yeet orders his fellow engineers to destroy everything they can. The illusionists project a montage of kobolds smashing bottles and glasses, breaking tables, and tossing barrels of produce across the floor. The montage ends with one of the kobolds yelling, "This is the greatest day of my life." Right before time is up, they use tomatoes to simulate blood and lie in the debris holding improvised weapons. Axel opens the front door, stares at the carnage, and slowly closes the door without saying anything. Last is the guild. Grinning Lim says, "They're going to resurrect us. If they want blood, let's give them blood." He stabs one member in the neck, then slashes another's throats. Rorash decapitates Lim in a single swing, shrugs, smears some of Lin's blood on his chest, and lies down next to them. Axel walks in, realizes most of the guild members are actually dead, and waves his friends frantically, and the recording ends.
I saw the option, but I wasn't bold enough.
Well, the Questmaster starts by disqualifying the guild, as the quest said to fake their deaths, and only one death was faked. So they've received no points. He awards the kobolds. Yeah. He awards the kobolds 3 points. Their chaos was delightful, but a bar fight was predictable. The umlauts get 4 for their slightly more creative bar fight. Cult to Cult gets 5 for their ghost story. And the Questmaster gives you all 4 points for your strange and creepy summoning, especially with having the Questmaster himself be in the scene. So you all are the winners ahead of the kobolds, who finished in second. And the Guild of Friends, furious over their disqualification from the last task, call the program a farce and challenge the Questmaster himself to a trial by combat. Grizdavix yells, "New quest, defend the Questmaster. Best defense wins, your time starts now." He, Axel, and the other adventurers flee, leaving you all to face the guild alone. And I figure we could just do this as a montage rather than roll it out. So I'll ask each of you to describe a cool move that your character uses against the guild, and then what your finishing move looks like, or if you're going to try to intimidate them into just running away.
Who looks like they have like the least health?
Let's see. That would be Grinning Limb, the one who first suggested that they have create real death.
I think Lucky's just like, okay, and just immediately third level magic missile right at that guy. All 6 bolts. And then when can your rogue sneak attack or something like it?
Well, I think what Robin is going to do is this 5th level once a day ability, which lets him pick 2 enemy creatures and gets them to attack each other.
Oh, nice. Well, I was just asking because the my person can make one attack a critical, just like automatically. So that's what he'll do at an opportune moment. Is he'll make something a crit, just for horrendous damage.
I think what Lathander does is just casually walks up to one of them, looking like, hit me, bro. And when Lathander gets hit, hellish rebuke.
Don't you also have armor of Agathis?
Yes.
So you could have both of them go off.
Yep. In fact, yes. Put on armor of Agathis and then just stand right in front of him and say, hit me.
Sorry about that. Zoom crashed on me. All right, so I caught the big magic missile. The rogue is causing 2 members of the guild to attack each other.
And Lathander is basically creating a double reaction. Armor of Agathis, or however it's pronounced, walk up to one of them and go, hit me. And then when he does, also hellish rebuke.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm just messing with causality all over the place to make sure that like their saving throws fail. The bard is going to confirm a critical hit when someone does, whenever a sneak attack happens.
There will be eldritch blasts flying everywhere.
So it's possible even when the rogue makes them 2 attack each other, the bard makes one of those attacks a critical hit. And so one member of the guild just completely slays another one.
Yes.
Nice. So you all quickly defeat the guild. Several members fall, and one of the others, one of the last ones, like looks around, is like, "This isn't worth it," and tries to like scamper off.
Eldritch blast.
So the Questmaster returns, awards you 100 bonus points, declares you the winner, and to raucous cheers, hands you the solid gold bust of his head. In the aftermath, Bob quits the unnecessary umlauts for good and gifts our mage Tavrion with a pair of live gerbils, and implores the mage to stop pining for the gerbils of the past and to instead look towards the gerbils of the future. The cult abandoned their cult worship in order to worship the Questmaster instead. You could see him be like, okay, and like trying to play it for the crowd, but is also deeply concerned. And with that, the theme music begins, the credits roll, and cut.
Huzzah.
Very cool.
I'm going to have to play a warlock in a more serious game now.
I super enjoy it. Also, we have Pesto in stream right now. Very cool module. That was a lot of fun. Oh goodness, I feel kind of like imaginatively drained after that. Like, oh man. Well, if folks liked this, the I'm going to throw the link in the YouTube doobly-doo once that goes up. The link's also on the Twitter post about it. And go grab this, because it's really cool.
And if you want to see more adventures, like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell.
And be sure to come back for our all-monk side adventure, which is coming up soon. Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like I need a nap now.
Yeah. Nap. It's after 10. I want real sleep.
That's true. Oh,
my cat's already falling asleep.
It is a very fun mix of making you think creatively with mechanics, and then making you just think creatively, completely outside of game stuff.
Yeah.
It really took me a minute to like kick into gear for the song lyrics. Like, I got there, but it just was like a real like mental shift. But that is not the first time I've written parody lyrics, so that helped. I went a little.
That was a fun. I had not planned on that working out, but the Black Bottom was just a fun Easter egg. It was the first city I thought of, and it's the starting city from MCDM's The Chain campaign. That's where the adventure starts in Black Bottom, and so I was like, it's there. And just to have that the song lyric was a lot of fun.
There it went. Yeah, I think I got like delirious towards the end of the first. It would have to have been like the first semester finals period of like first year of div school, and I might have set the Gnostic creation myth to Dr. Seuss rhyme scheme. It actually got picked up by a couple of New Testament blogs. Oh, goodness. Other people are going to read that and be like, what happened?
Pretty much. Oh, all right.
I have to go get an ocarina out of my mailbox.
Okay.
I like zoned out on Amazon and then stopped and was like, wait, what did I just do? And I had ordered an ocarina, and I was shopping for otomatones.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, which one do I want? Like the deluxe? And I was like, what am I doing? I just hadn't bought an instrument in a while. Hopefully they delivered it to the right house.
We'll make sure we're off Twitch before you dox yourself.
Yeah. Oh, Roy. Oh, I guess I can actually. Pesto shared. To pull the curtain back, there wasn't an inside joke you missed. It was just a dude suffering a midlife crisis and trying to recapture his happy childhood by zombifying his pets. Yeah, I that makes me feel kind of bad about the song now. I feel like it was very fitting, but did nothing to make him feel better. Oh. I mean, I guess if we give it a couple weeks, maybe not a couple weeks, Joe could probably actually work that out.
Maybe.
Oh. We played a little fast and loose with the rhyme scheme, though, so
Only a little bit.
be a lot of like, an extra eighth count on a chord.
Polyrhythms.
Oh man. Whew. All right. Well, I think we're gonna get off the stream because we're a little bit past our usual bedtime.
Yep.
And I still have a monk subclass to finish tonight. So.
Oh no.
It's like half done, but there's a lot of formatting left, which is my least favorite part. Formats and NPCs.
Yes.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm gonna get off of here.
Good night, y'all.
Peace. And once again, a big thank you to Pesto for the very, very cool one shot.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.